Hello, my name's Carole. Welcome to my sewing room. Today I thought I would do a fun video running through my kind of top 10 new look patterns. Now, if you're new to my channel, I would just say that I mainly sew Big Four. I do sew a few indie patterns if I can get the physical pattern, but I am a massive fan of the Big Four because I have about 1,000 patterns of theirs, so I should be able to find something to use. But I thought I would start doing this little fun series, and I'm going to start with my favourite new look. So I've got 10 new look patterns here, which are kind of my favourites, my go-tos. And I've got some of the items that I've actually made from these patterns. I'm not going to try them on. If I've shown them in a video in the past, I will put a link to that instead. But I just thought I would show them to you. So I love new look because they are very simple. They seem to fit me very well. I don't have much of an issue, and they are very beginner friendly. I'm going to start with some tops first, and the first one I'm choosing is New Look 6344. I have made the sleeveless version, and I've also made the kind of version there with the pleats. You can also put some lace or contrasting fabric just on the shoulders. So this is the version I made, and I made this last year out of this so pretty viscose challis. Gorgeous prints. As you can see, you've got the pleats there, you've got the nice little, you insert sleeves, you've got nice little sleeves. There is an opening in the back. It is just, it's not functional. There is a button there, but it is not functional because it is wide enough just to slip over your head. Quite often this comes up quite wide on me, so I have inserted a tie. So I just make a small thin tie and I insert it into the side seams just to pull it in a little bit. So this is one I made last year, and it's probably the favourite version I've ever done. So that is New Look 6344. On to the next one. This is one that I only found this year actually, New Look 6708. Now I have put a marker on this to say that it's actually quite a short version. That version there is the version I made, and it is quite short. I did put the elastic in, as you can see there, just very lightly, but I will definitely be making this pattern up again. So the version I made earlier this year was in a collab actually, was this one here. Again, a viscose challis. You've got the button on the back with the opening. Again, you can just slip this over your head, so that button doesn't have to be functional, although I did actually do a little rouleau loop, and for that time, goodness knows why I went to that trouble. You've got the gathering here, which is very much like a butterick top that I like, but that was super fun to do, and just some elastic in the sleeves. So I'm really pleased with this pattern, and I will definitely be making it again. So that was New Look 6708. The next one is New Look 6895. This is quite an old pattern. I have made the sleeveless version, and I've got a little cap sleeve version to show you as well. Fun, quick little make, using very lightweight fabrics. It's really fun to do, and this was one I made last year as well. I think I made it in May last year. Nice little sleeves. You got the bias binding, and then you can see that little bit of gathering just at the centre of the neckline. It wasn't too wide like the other ones, so I didn't have to put the ties on the side, and it's just a really lovely floaty little top, perfect with kind of white trousers. Now a couple of years ago I did make this sleeveless version, and every year I go to throw this out and I just can't bear to, because it's just a useful piece to have. So that's the sleeveless version with the binding around the edges, a kind of fake button on the back because you can easily slip it over your head. But yeah, lovely little top, very cooling little floaty top. So definitely making some more of those, because I know I have some viscose challis in my stash. So that was New Look 6895. The next one I'm going to show you, I'm not sure if you can still even get this pattern on Etsy, but if you can, try and get it. It's New Look 6216. It might still be in print. It is the easiest little t-shirt. You can do it just plain in the front, or you can do it with a little hembands. I'm actually wearing one now that I made last year, and this is another of the versions I made last year in this kind of knit jersey. I think it's such a simple, it's a front and a back. You've got the neckband to put on, and you hem it and you put the hembands in the sleeve, and that is the best thing because you don't have a hem on the end of the sleeve. You could of course roll it black if you wanted that kind of look, or leave it off altogether as I have done before, but I have made so many of these. I've also made the trousers, and they're quite a good pattern as well. So that's New Look 6216. Now New Look 6217. This is a marvellous pattern, completely beginner friendly. You have got this little top here. Now I've done this in a jersey, but it is meant to be a woven top. You've also got the skirt, the trousers, and I have made that little kind of cardigan there as well. So what I've got for you here is just the top, and just to show you how simple it is. Very similar to this, but in a woven. You've got the front, the back. You have got a centre back seam, and there is yet another fake opening with the button on the back. You can easily slip this over your head. You can make this up so quickly. You could even just do it on the fold, do the front and the back on the fold, and omit that completely because that will go over your head. But this, if you want a quick light little top in a viscose, in a chalet or something like that, or a crepe de chine, super pattern. So that's New Look 6217. Now on to dresses. I don't make masses of dresses, but the two real favourites for me are, well, this one first of all, New Look 6619, and I know this is still around, so I know people still buy it. This is a good pattern, but it is quite oversized, and quite often I will put some fisheye darts in the back just to give it a little bit more shape. But I think I've made this about 5 or 6 times. I've got two versions for you here. One of them, because of the yoke you have, and you also have, I think it's probably easier if I show you the line drawings, you've got the yoke and the hemband on one of the versions. You can really play around with colour blocking. Now, I did a very experimental one last year that I was never sure of when I made it, but actually I really love it. It's a fun kind of dress. The top was chambray, and this was just a normal cotton. As you can see, I've put some fisheye darts in the back just to give it a little bit more shape. It looked odd when I first made it, so I then went back and put some top stitching on, and I love this little dress. I've also got, quite often I do, if I bought a kind of a striped linen, I also play around with the stripes. Now this was one I made quite a few years ago now, but I still love it and it still comes out. As you can see, I played around with the stripes, and the same with this one. This one is a bit longer. I actually prefer it shorter. The only thing I would say, which I learnt with these two, is there is the option to put side pockets in, and that has never worked for me. If you see this one, you can see already, if I've done it in the fabric, and it is quite bulky. So whenever I've made them recently, I made one in a chambray as well, I'm just leaving the pockets off now because I find it kind of spoils the line, and it's just too heavy on the lighter fabrics. But yeah, you can see I really like that pattern, and that was New Look 6619. If you watch my channel, you will not be surprised at the one I'm going to hold up next, and that is New Look 6650. Now, I refer to this as a magic dress. It is a simple jersey dress. It does have a split up the side, or you can leave that out or make it short or long, and it has the waist tie. Now, I love this dress for me, but also my daughter, who is quite a different shape to me, she's much curvier than me, also it really works for her as well. I've made it several times for her. I actually made it for her when she was pregnant as well. Because of the tie, it was just kind of a nice detail that kind of hid the bump a little bit. I've made it for her to wear to a wedding. it's the dress that she is really comfortable in whenever I make it for her, and that is a golden for her. So I love it too, I have to say. Jersey dress where you can just hide a little bit that you might have there. Yeah, you know I've made it so many times. This is the version I made the end of last year. This is one with a kind of slightly longer sleeves, so they come to about here. This was out of a viscose jersey with the tie, but it is the slightly long version. And I made a shorter version in kind of an ITY last year. So lovely, lovely little thing to do. You don't have a neckband, you just kind of make a hem, roll it over. So yeah, no surprises there that I was going to choose that pattern for one of my dress patterns. So that was New Look 6650. I can't leave out the men in my life, and I have to say this New Look 6197 is such a winner, and I know loads of you have got this one and you have made it. You've made it for the ladies blouse, which I've never done, but I just use it for my husband making the shirt. I've made lots of shirts for him from this. It's a really beginner friendly shirt pattern because it doesn't have a collar stand. You've just got the back yoke, traditional back yoke with the pleat, but you just have the flat collar. Now I think you call it a camp shirt or maybe Hawaiian shirt. As I said, I've made loads of these, but one of my favourites was the one I made for him with some AC/DC cotton fabric. He absolutely loves this. As you can see, it's just got the flat collar. This version, I actually did that funny little tab there that you're meant to do, but I didn't put the button on the other side because I knew he was never going to use it. One pocket, but yeah, a really good pattern, and I've made it quite often for him. So that's New Look 6197. If you want to make the man in your life, or even make a shirt for yourself and it's nice and easy, that's the pattern I would recommend. Now, if you watch my channel, you will know that I'm not a massive fan of skirts. I'm 5'2" and it just makes me feel a little bit dumpy. But I do have one skirt pattern that if I want a skirt, this is the pattern I will use. I've also made a couple of skirts for my mum from this same pattern. It's one of my favourites. That's New Look 6579. And I do the version that has the pockets. I think you show it there. So it's a, was it a 4 panels on the back, 4 panels on the front. This is the only one I could find to show you. It's kind of a wintry one. It was done in this lovely needle cord. So I would wear that normally with dark tights and boots, but it's got these lovely deep pockets on the front. And that is what makes it such a winner for me. It's got the lovely kind of thick waistband, no elastic, it just fits, and you've got the zip in the back. But it's New Look 6579, and I have, well, my mum loves it, I love it, and it's a pattern that I will definitely keep. If ever I need a skirt, then this is the one I will go for. I've never made it in a denim though. Maybe I'll make it in a denim one day. The final pattern I'm going to say is trousers, and I do make a lot of trousers because that's what I live in. It's New Look 6517. Now immediately when you look at this you wouldn't think it's a trouser pattern, but it does. You have got a lovely pair of kind of cropped wide leg trousers there. I have made this so many times. You've got back elastic. Now I've got some of my oldest versions here. This I think I made about 4 years ago in this kind of lightweight viscose mix. So quick and simple to run up. You've got, as I said, the back elastic, you've got the flat front, and you've got these pockets. Now I don't know what they call these type pockets, but yeah, we've got those on the front, so they're really easy to put on. Now I will say, as you can see in that pattern, there is no tie on the front. I like to put a tie in the front because I think it's a little bit distracting. So if you've got a tiny bit of a tummy or something, if you put that tie in the front, it kind of breaks it up a little bit. All I do is just do some rectangles. I shape off the end, turn them inside out, and I just insert them to where you've got the start of the flat panel. So you've got the elastic that runs all the way around and you've got a flat panel here, and I just insert them there. So that was kind of a viscose mix, and you can probably see it a bit easier on this one. This was a pure linen pair I made, as you can tell, because it's creased, as linen does. But yeah, you can see the pocket detail a bit better. And again, I've done exactly the same thing by just adding those ties just to break up the area and add a little bit of interest. So I will be making many more of these this year, because these ones that I've made now they've been out for a few years, and linen does get tired. But yeah, made these last year, so they'll be staying. But that is the quickest, simple trouser pattern, and I know lots of you love it out there. So what did you think? I am sure that so many of you have got all of those patterns because they've been around a long time, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to show you my favourites and also show you the garments actually made up from them. Now, if you enjoyed this series, I have a lot of simplicity patterns and butterick and all the others, so I will quite happily do another one at another time. Probably next would be simplicity. But thank you very much for joining me. I do hope you've gained something from this. It was fun for me to actually go through and work it all out and also find the things. And now, because we're just heading into spring and summer, I'm quite excited to be wearing some of these again. With these patterns that I'm going to show you, I have to say most of them I've had for quite a few years. I know some are still in print, but if they're not, don't forget to look on Etsy or eBay or like the charity shops or thrift stores or wherever, because quite often you can get hold of them. I know very often I've got hold of them from Etsy. Quite often America seems to have a surplus of unused patterns, so I tend to get a lot of them from there. But yeah, apologies if you can't get hold of them, but I think most of us will have them anyway. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you very soon. Goodbye for now, and happy sewing.